Today, boys and girls, I'm going to give you some guidance and a quick demonstration about how you can accomplish this drawing project. This drawing project is intended for you to choose an object from somewhere around your house and then really observe that object and try to do 4 different views of that object. What you can see here is a finished example of the project. I found an object around my house and then I went ahead and I did 4 different views of it. There's some finishing options that you have available to you, but I'll discuss that in just a little bit. First, the materials you need, the basic materials that you need to get started are a piece of paper, and it can be any type of paper. It doesn't have to be drawing paper, it can be copy paper, it can be lined paper, colored paper, small, large, whatever you happen to have access to at your home. You'll also need a pencil. If you have the ability to have, if you have a ruler in your house, a ruler would be a good companion to have for this project. If you don't have a ruler, what you can do is make a straight edge out of folding a piece of paper in half. And the folded edge gives you a nice edge to go ahead and be able to draw with. I'll be using this in my demo so you can see how something like this would help you with drawing the edges of your object if you do have edges for your object, or when you divide the paper up as well. So let's discuss the idea of what type of objects might be good for this project first. In my example project, I used this little stuffed creature. It's kind of like a stuffed animal. You might have some stuffed animals around your home. That would maybe be a good choice. You don't want to choose anything that's terribly complicated. You don't want anything that has a lot of detail to it. Something that has some detail, but some easy areas will probably be beneficial for this. If you don't have stuffed animals or anything like that, other objects around your house, you might have some toys that might be of interest for you to draw. Something, again, that has some interest, that if you were looking at it, you'd want to spend some time looking at it, and that you'd be able to find 4 different views easily enough with. Maybe like a little Lego piece. Now, these are a little small, but they do have a lot of interest to it. If you have Lego figurines, or if you want to build something out of Legos and you can try to draw that, that would work as well too. Any type of object that you would like to look at for more than a few minutes that would give you some interest and have lots of different vantage points that you can twist it and turn it and look at it would be a really great idea. If you don't have any type of toys or objects available where you're at, if you have a picture, a book cover, anything that you might have would be a good choice. So there's bound to be some type of image, object, or something that you can use for this project. So let's go ahead and begin. First things first, you want to take your paper and you want to divide it up. This project is about 4 views of an object. So you want to create 4 spaces on your paper so that way you can have a different space to draw each view in. You could divide your paper up as simply as drawing 2 lines, one vertically and one horizontally, and that'll give you 4 sections to your paper. On my example, I had 4 little boxes. That's the format I prefer to work in because I feel like it helps to separate those drawings a little bit, and it just gives a nice clean look to it. So I'm going to use my straight edge that I created by folding a piece of, this is just construction paper, and I'm going to use this, and I'm just eyeballing this. Nothing here is about precision. This is a project about observation. So I'm going to draw the other edges of this, and my boxes are not going to be the same size. I'm just simply making 4 boxes. I'm choosing to make these square because that's what I want to do. If you would like to do something different, that's totally up to you. If you want rectangles, you could have heart-shaped areas, you could have triangular-shaped areas. Really, whatever you would like to do is what I'd like to see you guys try to do for this project. So I'm almost done making my boxes, and you can see just using this piece of paper folded as a straight edge worked really well. So if you don't have a ruler, or you need more than 1 ruler in your house, and you only have 1, this is a great solution. It's a great choice for you. Okay, so I've got my 4 areas. So again, now you're going to pick your object. I'm going to work with this one because this is the one that was in the finished demo. I really like the simplicity of this, but there's a lot of great curves and different patterns on the fabrics that were used for this. So I really like the idea of zooming in, and you can also have areas that are zoomed out. If you remember my final one, we had some really close-up viewpoints, and then we had some that were definitely further away so you could see more of the object in there. So for my first one, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna draw this part. I'm gonna draw the part that I can see right here on its side. I'm gonna draw it kind of large so it fills the paper, but we can't really see all of it because it doesn't all fit in there. So I'm gonna have the object handy for me as I'm looking to draw. And my first view is going to be right about this section here, very similar to what I showed you in that finished work. So as I'm looking at this, and again, when you're drawing, when you start to draw, always draw lightly. Draw lightly, draw lightly, because if you draw lightly and when you need to erase, because that's bound to happen, you can erase pretty easily. If you press really too hard into the paper, you're going to find that it's really hard to erase the lines that you would like to get rid of, okay? So this straight edge, I'm gonna look at the edge of this object first. So I'm gonna have this nice straight edge, and I want this to be at an angle, so I'm gonna lightly sketch this in there. So this line that I put here is signifying that there. So I'm gonna have this viewpoint that's got some of the mouth in there. The mouth is big. The mouth on this creature takes up the whole width of the body. And this is so large of a view that I'm doing that we can't even see all of the mouth. We can only see part of the mouth. That's got some teeth in there. I can see one of those and maybe just a partial of another. I'm looking at the actual stitching that's here, and you can see the lips that have been stitched. So again, I'm just lightly sketching everything right now. The eyeball for this creature, it's a big puffy eyeball. So I want to make certain that I'm showing the idea that it's big and puffy. It pushes out from the edge. So I want to try to draw, it's partially on the body, and then the rest of it kind of goes off the body. Now that line is hidden by the thickness of the eye. So I'm going to carefully erase that out of there. There's some detailing in the eye. You can see a little bit of the middle part of the eye. You can see some of the colored part of the eye that's right there, and I'm sketching that in. And then we can see a little bit of the arm. We can't see the whole arm in the view that I'm doing, but we can see some of that arm view. So this is gonna come in here. And the stripes that are on this pattern are pretty thick. So that would be some detail that I'd like to add in there. And there we go. So I've sketched one viewpoint of this. On my final one, again, remember there were multiple viewpoints. So what you would want to do next, so take and maybe try a completely different viewpoint of it. Maybe you want to focus in on the top part here. Maybe you want to focus in on the arm. Maybe you want to focus in on the mouth. But translate that to whatever object that you choose to draw from. So I've got one done. I would go through and I would do the second, the third, and the fourth in any order I want and any views that I'd like to do. Now, when you're totally done with your work, you have some options, okay? So option number one, if you have access to a marker, it could be a Sharpie marker, a Crayola marker, any type of marker that you might have access to. If you want to darken up the lines that you chose to draw, go ahead and trace those with a marker. If it's a permanent marker like a Sharpie, that allows you the ability to go back and erase some lines a little bit more heavily that you weren't able to erase before. And option number two, if you have access to coloring materials, such as things like crayons or colored pencils or markers, you can, and I encourage it if you have the ability and the time, go ahead and add some color to enhance your finished work. Like my original creature was orange with some green and some white and touches of red, some yellow on here. And what I did was I tried to make it sort of true to what I was trying to draw. So if you want to change colors on there, like maybe you would like this better as a pink creature instead of an orange, absolutely, okay? But whatever you choose to find around your house is what I'd like you to draw. Pick something that's interesting to you, pick something that you know that you can be successful with, and when you are done with your drawing, take a picture of it and submit it either via Seesaw to the class account, or you can email it to your teacher as well.